everybody. Today we're going to be talking about the rate of change and slope. So basically what we're going to be looking at today is a bunch of charts and graphs, and we're going to be coming up with some information based on that information that we're given. Okay, so first of all, let's figure out what a rate of change is and what the slope is. So the rate of change is a rate that describes how one quantity relates to another. It's usually expressed as a unit rate. So we've already dealt with unit rates, so we're going to be using the information that's in a chart or on a graph and then simplifying it down to make a unit rate. The slope is the rate of change between any 2 points on a line. So basically we have our change in y over the change in x. So for example, this is what it would look like. So if you had these 2 points on a line, we would go ahead and subtract the y values. So 5 minus 3, which is going to give us 2, over the difference in our x values, which is 3 minus 2, which is going to give us 1. So 2 over 1, that is our slope of the line. Alright, let's go ahead and do some examples. Let's look at the first two problems. Number 1 says, find the approximate rate of change in miles per minute. So two things that I have realized by just reading this sentence. I'm going to have to make an estimate. So that means that our answer isn't going to come out completely perfect. Another thing that I noticed when reading this sentence is that we are going to find the change in miles per minute. So that means we're going to have miles per minute. So all of our miles is going to be in the numerator and our minutes are going to be in the denominator. And also another thing that I noticed is that we're going to be finding the rate of change, which means we are going to go ahead, look at this chart, pick out one of these points. So I'm going to choose this one. So if I do 290 over 30. So basically now I'm going to change this and make it a unit rate. So instead of per 30 minutes, I'm going to make it per 1 minute. So in order to do that, how do I go from here to here? I would have to divide by 30 because 30 divided by 30 gives you 1. So I'm going to have to divide by 30 here, and I'm going to have to divide by 30 here. Okay? So now let's go ahead and divide it out. So if I have 290 divided by 30, the first thing I realize is that both of these end in a 0, so I can go ahead and divide a 10 out right away by rewriting it as 3 divided by 29. Because by dividing by 10, I x'd out one of these zeros each. So now it makes our math a little bit easier. So 3 goes into 29. It goes in about 9 times because that's going to give us 27. And then we're going to go ahead and subtract. We're going to get a 2, add a 0. So 3 goes into 20 about 5 times, and that will give us 15, subtracting at 5, etc. So basically we know that we're estimating 9.5. So instead of about 9.5 ... we're going to estimate it to about 10 miles per minute. So miles per minute. So this would be our final answer. So again, we looked back at our information on our table. We took one of the points and then we went ahead and organized it as miles per minute, just like our directions said. And then we simplified it down to a unit rate and we estimated it to 10 miles per minute. Okay, let's go ahead and look at another example. It says find the slope and explain. So first of all, let's go ahead and find the slope by looking at this information on the table. So anytime you're given information like this on a table, each of these is a different point on the line. So we're starting at 0, 0, then we're going to 1, 5, then we're going to 2, 10, and then we're going to 3 up to 15. So that is what our line is looking like. So what we're going to have to do is find the change in y over the change in x. So that's going to give us a slope. So anytime we say a change, we're talking about a difference. We're subtracting. So I'm going to go ahead and choose any 2 points on a graph. I'm going to choose this one and this one. So I have 1, 5, and I have 2, 10. So first of all, I'm going to go ahead and find the change or the difference in our y values. So I'm going to go ahead and do 10 minus 5. We got 10 minus 5 because both of those are our y values. And now we're going to go ahead and find the difference or the change in x. So we're going to go ahead and subtract these two. So 2 minus 1. So 10 minus 5 is going to give us 5. And then 2 minus 1 is going to give us 1. So basically our slope is 5 over 1. So it's telling me that from one point to the next, you're going to have to go up 5 over 1. So I'm going to say you have to go up 5 over 1. And this is going to be a positive slope because we are going up. So each point we're going to have to go up and over, up and over. So our graph is going this direction. So graph is increasing. So those would be my final answers to help give me a complete answer by explaining. Okay, let's go ahead and look at a few more examples. All right, let's go ahead and look at example number 3. We are given a graph, and we are going to have to use and read this graph to be able to come up with our answer. So it says, use the graph to find the rate of change in miles per hour while driving in the city. So first of all, we need to figure out the miles per hour. Okay, so basically that means that when we go over on the x-axis over to 1, because this is our hours, and we go up, whatever point that is will tell us how many miles are in 1 hour. So in this case, it's 30 miles in 1 hour. Now, not all the time is it going to be this easy to figure out for 1 hour. Like, wonder if this point was actually over here and it wasn't quite on the 1 hour, so there was no point directly on that, so we wouldn't be able to tell. So there's another way that you can do it as well, and it's by using 2 points on the line. Okay, we can do subtract our y values and subtract our x values to figure out what our rate of change is as well. So for example, we could do 60 minus 30, those are our 2 y values, and then do 2 minus 1, which is our x values, and we would end up with 30 over 1, or 30 miles per hour. So either way you do it, you're going to get the same answer. So either you have to look here where it says hours, find 1 hour, and go up to find the corresponding point, or you can go ahead and use the formula by subtracting our y values and our x values to figure out the rate of change. Alright, let's go ahead and look at another example. Alright, so this one we have to do 2 things. First of all, we have to graph the data, and then we need to find the slope of the line. So first of all, you're given some information like this, and we have our week, and then we have our water loss. So we're going to go ahead and make a graph. So I have my x-axis and my y-axis, and we're going to be starting at the origin, which is 0. So I'm going to go ahead and do my week per water loss. Alright, let's go ahead and graph the points. So first of all, I have to go over 1, so I have to go over 1, and I have to go up 1.5. So we're going to go up 1. Okay, so we're going to go over 1 and go up 1.5. So here's our first point. Now we're going to have to go over 2 to the right. So here's our, we go over to 2 on the x-axis, and then we're going to have to go up to 3 on the y-axis. So over 2, up 3. Now I'm going to go ahead and go over to 3 on the x-axis, which is right here, and then we're going to go up to 4.5. So here's 4, here's 5, and 4.5 will be right in the middle, so we're going to go up right here. And our last point is 4, 6. So we're going to go over 4 on the x-axis, and we're going to go up 6 on our y-axis. So our point is going to be right here. So now here are our 4 points, and we're going to have to connect them to be able to make a straight line. So I'm going to go ahead and use a ruler just to keep it a little neater, and I'm going to connect the dots. So there we go. Here is our graph. So this is 1, 1.5. This is 2, 3, this is 3, 4.5, and this is 4, 6. Alright, so there's our 4 points on the line. So we did our first thing, we graphed our data. Now we need to go ahead and find the slope. So first of all, I'm going to go ahead and choose 2 points, and I'm going to choose this point and this point. Now the reason why I'm choosing them is because neither of these have decimals, and it's just a little bit easier to deal with it when there's no decimals. So now, in order to find the slope, we need to have the change in y over change in x. So that means we're going to be subtracting our y values, and that's going to be in our numerator, and then subtracting our x values, which is in the denominator. So first I'm going to do 6 minus 3, because those are our y values. So 6 minus 3 over 4 minus 2, which is our x values. So 4 minus 2. So now I'm going to go ahead and subtract. So 6 minus 3 is going to give me 3. And then 4 minus 2 is going to go ahead and give me 2. And so that would be our slope of the data. 3 over 2. Just make sure it's in simplest form, which it is. Alright, let's go ahead and look at the on your own problems. Here you have 2 problems to do for me. First of all, you're going to have to use this table of information to find the rate of change in degrees per hour. So when it says per hour, remember the rate of change is as a unit rate. Number 2, find the slope of the line using the following data. So you're going to look at this data and go ahead and find the slope and make sure it's in simplest form. Alright, good luck. We'll see what you get tomorrow.